Let's work through the working directory changes, adding to staging area, and finally committing workflow a few more times. So again, if I do pwd, you can see that I'm back in the Git demo project. If I do git status, I have a clean working directory. So I'm going to clear. Let's add a new file. So let's say for this project, I want to create a website. So I'm going to use mate to create a web page. So I'm going to type mate, and I'm going to call it index.html. Now I'm just going to paste in some boilerplate type of HTML. You can find this HTML markup pretty much anywhere online, but I will be including all the source from this course on my GitHub account. Okay, now that I've inserted this markup, I'm going to hit save. So that's Command S, and now I'm going to close mate. So now that I'm back, if I do git status, you can see that I have an untracked file. That means Git isn't actively managing it yet. So now I'm going to add it. If I do git status, see we have a new file. And at the same time, I want to do a few more changes to our README file. So mate, README, and maybe I want to back out some of this ipsum down here. Maybe I really don't want to do that. Maybe I want to say website contents. And maybe I'll just list out the different files that I plan to have in my website. So I'm going to save and close. Git status. In fact, let me clear and do it again. Git status. So what you can see here is that Git will show you the newly modified files as well as anything that's in the staging area with the git status command. So now I can move the modified README file up into the staging area by doing the git add command again. Now if we do git status, you can see both files are in the to be committed state, which is the staging area. And if we just do git commit -m, provide a useful commit message. So you can see now that we've committed those changes, we didn't have to specify any files. It just took everything that was in the staging area and committed it. Let's keep moving forward. Let's make a few more changes. So I'm going to use mate again, and we'll make a few README file changes. Let's add an introductory paragraph before our list. Here are the files in the website. Save, close. Let's edit our index page again. Maybe I'll just change this to home page. Save and close. So now I have two files that I have modified in my working directory that I haven't staged or committed yet. So if I do a git status, Git shows us that we have two files that have been modified. Up until this point, I've been specifying the specific file with the git add command. What I can do in this case is, since I have multiple files, I could actually use some shortcuts. So I'm going to type git add, and then if I just use a period instead of the file name, Git will recursively add any new or newly modified files to the Git staging area or Git index. So now if we type git status, it says these changes are to be committed. So these modified files are in the Git staging area. Again, I'll follow through and commit what I have. And now I have committed my changes. So now we should be fairly proficient in adding our files to the index and finally committing them. We're going to walk through this process one last time, but with a little bit of a twist at the end. We should be clean, so if I do a git status, I should have a clean working directory. If I do an ls, you can see we have a README and index page. So let's edit the README file one more time. Mate README. I'm going to add another heading. And now I'm going to paste in some more hipster ipsum. Now I'm going to save and close. So do a git status. We can see that newly modified file. Git add the README file. Git status. And it sees that it's been modified and that it's to be committed. That is, it's in the Git staging area. But at this point, I really don't want boilerplate text. I'm ready to actually use a real README file. So I want to back out that ipsum lorem that I just put in there. So I'm going to follow the advice the git status command gives me. it tells me in order to unstage that I need to use the git reset command, specifying head and the file. So we're going to do that. We're going to type git reset head and then the file that we want to unstage. Now we press enter, and that file has been unstaged. Let me clear to give myself some more room. Again, we're going to do the git status command so we can kind of see where we're at. So these are changes not staged for commit. And I want to show the contents of the file right now. Invoke mate again. Show that README file. So we have all the ipsum lorem down here. So all we did is we just backed it out of the git staging area. Now what I want to do is discard my changes that are in my working directory. So I'm going to follow the advice. I'm going to use the git checkout command as described up here in my git status command. So I'm going to type git checkout -- and then the file name. So readme.md. I'm going to press enter. And again, with git, usually no news is good news. However, I can verify what happened by opening mate up again. So mate and then my readme file. And now this time, we can see that our readme file has returned to the way it was when we last committed to git. So now I'm going to close mate, and we can just do another git status to sort of verify where we're at, and we are back to a clean working directory.